Have you ever imagined why God promised you, why God gave you a dream, and then He just allowed you to pass through years of waiting, of rejection, and then of disappointment? Now, I want you to know this about God's promise or the dream He gave you. Those years of waiting, of disappointment, of rejection in your life, they are actually years that were preparing you for the very dream, for the very promise that God Himself gave to you. Now, in today's video, we are going to be looking at the story of Joseph and what we can learn exactly from the story of Joseph. Now, to get this in the Bible, you are going to see it in the book of Genesis, chapter 37 to chapter 50. Okay, and if you can see chapter 37 to 50, is more than one chapter, and if we are to read it from 37 to 50, this video is going to be too lengthy, and so I will beg you to wrap up the story and then you go back at your convenience, when it suits you, when you will not be distracted, and then study this scripture, Genesis chapter 37 to Genesis chapter 50. And then you are going to get the full story of Joseph that we are going to be digesting in today's video. Now, let me wrap the story up for you. Joseph was the son of Jacob, and Jacob loved him more than every other person. He was his father's favorite among his brothers. But then God gave him a dream, and then he shared this dream with his brothers. And then, out of jealousy, because from the interpretation of the dream, he's going to be a leader. You understand? And so, out of jealousy, they sold him out to be a slave in Egypt. And then, as a slave, what happened? Joseph ended up in the prison. As if that was not enough, he suffered. Joseph suffered. He went through a lot of pain. You understand? But then, in the prison, he interpreted the dream of Pharaoh and then gave Pharaoh the way forward for them to survive during the famine. And so, out of excitement and appreciation, Pharaoh gave Joseph a position that a stranger is not supposed to occupy, because Joseph was given the position of second in command in what? Egypt. And was it from there? No. And that is God's power for you. That is God's promise for you. God's promise in your life. There is nothing that can disqualify you. When God has promised you, when He has given you a dream, it is yours. And so nobody has the power to take it away from you. And so Joseph was made the second in command in Egypt. And then the famine started in the region. And so hunger struck Joseph's family. And so his brothers came to Egypt to get food. But they never knew that this great man that they were to get food from is their younger brother that they sold out. Joseph recognized them. He didn't use that against them. But what happened? He forgave them and he reconciled with his family back. That is God's promise for you. Now, I want us to see Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. Okay? And it says, I'm coming. Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well and to preserve many people alive, as He is doing today. Now, Genesis chapter 50, verse 20 is trying to make us to understand that Joseph said that their initial plan, they sold him out for him to suffer, for him to die, for his dreams not to come true. And so they meant harm for him. But what happened? God did not mean harm to him. And so God meant well for him. And so what happened? God used him to save lives. So in as much as Joseph was faced with hardship, with pain, with disappointment, what happened? He still remained faithful to God because he knows that the God he serves is a faithful God. Now, I want you to know this about delay in God's promise. When God gives you the promise, you understand, He meant it. And I want you to know that God gives you promise before the process. And that is why God shows you your dream. He shows you the promise before ever He shows you the process. Now, the promise is revealing your destination to you, while God's process is doing what? Is preparing you for your destination. Now, the process is when you pass through disappointment, you pass through years of waiting, you pass through years of disappointment, of rejection, of setback, of challenges. But trust me, because these years are years that are filled with these pains, disappointment, challenges, they bring a lot of pain to us. And so these years actually makes us to be confused. These years actually makes God's promise in your life to look like it is too slow. But let me tell you something. God doesn't fail. He has promised you, He has promised you. And there is nothing anyone can do about it. Now, when God is preparing you, when you are in the process of heading or landing in your final destination, what happens? People will boast and tell you that, are you not seeing what I did to her? Are you not seeing what I did to him? I told you. When God is actually preparing you for your destination, people will feel that they have power over you. People will feel that they are the one doing you. People will feel that they have control and they are in charge of your life. But what they don't know is this. You are in your preparation class and you will soon be done with it. And very soon you will get to your destination. Why? Because you are unstoppable. His brother sold him out thinking that should be the end of his dream. But they never knew that they were also workers in the process of him actually achieving that dream he shared with them. If they had known, they wouldn't have sold him out. But they felt they are harming him, and so they did what they did. God's delay in your life is not denial. The delay is you being in your preparation class. And so when God is done preparing you, He is going to lead you exactly to your destination. You are not going to miss road. You are not going to miss track because God is really in control. Now, delays are often, preparation and not punishment. When you are in your season of preparation to head to your destination, because you are feeling the pain, because you are feeling the heat of the process, and so you are confused, and the process is becoming slow, and so doubt will come in. Am I sure God is still with me? Am I sure He is not punishing me? When you are faced with rejection, disappointment, when you are in your season of silence, which is your process or your preparation to your final destination, it does not signify that God is punishing you maybe for what you have done. No, you are not getting any punishment. Most persons will say, because you are passing through a lot of challenges, they feel that God is punishing you for what you have done or for what your parents or your family people have done. No, you are passing through what you are passing through in life, and that is because what you are passing through is preparing you ahead to your final destination, which is the promise that God Himself has given to you. And so, don't see your season of preparation as punishment, because it is not. It is your preparation era. Okay? Now, rejection can be God's redirection. Yes. When you are in your preparation class and then you are faced with rejection, maybe you go to a job interview and you are being rejected. Maybe you need a partner and so you are looking for one. You met someone and you are being rejected. You understand? Maybe you wrote a business proposal and you were being rejected, let down. Maybe you are being rejected by your loved ones. Maybe an offer that should have been given to you, you were being rejected. But let me tell you that you are being rejected doesn't mean that God has turned His back on you. God is rather using rejection to redirect you. That you see where you are heading to. That is not the right place for you to be. That is not the right thing for you to do. And so have a U-turn and then face where should lead you to your destination. And that is how you should see rejection in your life. When you are being faced with rejection severally, it is normal as humans to feel that maybe something is wrong with you. How can it be? How can I be rejected for this particular thing severally? And so you have this feeling that maybe someone is undoing you. Maybe you are cursed. No, not at all. God is rather redirecting you. You know, most of us, you know, uh, God don't speak to us one on one, just like in those days where God comes down and then speak to His people. Right now, God speaks to us in different ways. And one of the ways He communicates with us is through rejection. When you are being rejected, God is redirecting you because you are going astray. You are getting out of line. You've left your lane. And so the rejection brings you back to him to redirect you. And so please don't see redirection, don't see rejection in your life as the end of the road for you, because God has good plans for you and he has not abandoned you. He did not give you that good dream, that promise just for you to be deceived. No, God can't do that. He's bigger than that. Okay? Now, I want you to know this, that your current situation is not your final destination in life. Now, God has given you a promise. And because you are facing hardship, because you are facing rejection, because you are facing challenges in your health, in your finances, in your relationship, that doesn't mean that that is your final destination. What you are currently facing in life, maybe you are eating from hand to mouth, it is not the end of your life. Why? Because that is not God's promise for you. God did not create you to come into this world to count ceilings, to watch people succeed, to watch people make it in life, to watch people enjoy their life. God created you for a purpose and He gave you a promise. He gave you a vision. And so that you have not gotten to the level you want to be in life, that you've not achieved whatever you wish to achieve in life, that doesn't mean that you are failed. That doesn't mean that your life cannot be better again. That doesn't mean that that is God's will for you. No, that is the process of you landing to your final destination. And so your current state shouldn't tie you down in life. Your current state is not a proof that you are meant to be in that state. That is not your final destination. That is the process you are in getting to your final destination. And so, no matter the state you are, no matter the condition you find yourself, no matter the kind of family you come from, God created you for a purpose. He gave you a promise. And so, you have a dream. And trust me, your dreams will come true. But what you are facing right now is making you to understand that you are in your preparation class and very soon you will get to your destination. By then, you will look at your back and you will see reasons to say, God, thank you because He is faithful. Now, staying faithful while you are waiting is very important. Now, while you are waiting for God's divine promise to come true in your life, which is a dream He has given you, you need to be faithful. And what do I mean by that? You need to trust God that is able, that is with you at all times, that He has not left you behind. Look at Joseph's story we are looking at. Joseph had a dream of being a leader. He has a leadership dream. Okay? But what happened? As a leader, is he supposed to be a slave? The answer is no. As a leader that God told him he will be, he being a slave, how will a slave be a leader? God said you will be a leader, and he finds himself in a prison. And so, can a prisoner be a leader? The answer we can give to ourselves is no. But because God said he will be a leader, his current state, being a slave and a prisoner, wasn't a barrier. That didn't stop Joseph. That didn't make Joseph to lose faith in what God told him. In what God showed him, he saw it. And so he believed it. He remained faithful no matter the current state he found himself. He still remained faithful. He knew that him being a slave, him being in prison, him being accused of what he didn't do wouldn't stop his dreams to come true. He believed what God can do in his life. He remained faithful. And that is exactly what I want you to do. As you are waiting for God's promise to be fulfilled in your life, be faithful to Him. Believe that His promise can come true in life. No wonder the Bible made us to understand that my thoughts towards you, they are of good and not of evil. God has a dream for you. He gave you a promise. And I have told you earlier, God's promise always comes before the process. And so, what am I trying to say? He has given you the promise, and now the process have come. So what should you do? Be faithful. Believe Him that He is able to lead you to the promise He made to you. Have faith in Him. Why? Because He can't fail. He can't disappoint you because He's not a man that He should lie to you. No, is He a sinner that He should repent? And so God is God. He doesn't change. As old as He is, He has never changed. And so your dream is not too big. After all, who gave you the dream is God. Is there anything bigger than God to do? No. And since God Himself, the Almighty, was the one that gave you this promise, He's going to fulfill it. No wonder He told us in His word that heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will never pass away. And so God has gave you His promise. And trust me, He never lies. He never fails. And so be faithful. I know it is painful, but you have to endure. I know because of the pain you are passing through, you are confused. I am not judging you. You just have to believe that God is with you. Remember, He told us that He wouldn't allow what we can't scale through to happen to us. And so, no matter the state you are, God has given you what it takes to walk through this process in your life. And remember, you are going to come out strong, just like Joseph. Joseph went through a lot. It is not easy. Reading it makes it look as if it's ordinary. But if you wear Joseph's shoe, you will know how painful it is for your own blood to sell you out to slavery. And then you don't just end up as a slave. You were framed up and you went to the prison for an offense you did not commit. I raise hand for Joseph's faithfulness. It is not easy. It is something many will give up, but he didn't. And that is why I want us, not just you, I am speaking to myself also. I want us to be like Joseph, to remain faithful no matter what. Even if what you are doing does not make sense today, keep doing. Keep doing because your dreams have what it takes to come true. Why? Because they were given to you by God Himself. Now, if God Himself made the promise, don't let the delay to convince you that He has forgotten about you. God doesn't forget. His brain is always fresh, is always intact. As old as he is, his brain has not failed. And so he knows you, he knows everything concerning you. He still remembers the promise he gave to you. And trust me, God has what it takes to give you the promise and then to make it to come to reality. If this video really spoke to you, why not give it a like and then share it with someone? And if what I am doing in this channel really makes sense to you, I want you to subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Don't go nowhere. Don't.